Signature clap. And we are back with another extra special, extra sauce, between the cheeks extravaganza with the one, the only, the leader of the Synergy Nation Network, the founder of the Weekly Geekly himself, Lucian.
Wow. Thank you. That was quite the introduction.
Yeah, how's it going?
I like butterflies right now.
Oh.
I feel like oh my god, that was great. Hey guys.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on. I'm glad we did this. We're supposed to do it earlier, but my damn car didn't start in the winter.
Yeah.
What did we get? Like -27 one night?
Yeah.
And then the next day my car was like, fuck you. And I was like, oh.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well guys, we're gonna have to reschedule this to where it's not like subarctic, I'm sorry. So I'm glad we could finally figure it out.
Yeah.
And I was telling him there's some street lights out over there. I was like, I almost got in a damn car accident. I was like, I feel like I'm never gonna make it, man. Like, fine, I'm here.
Worlds that don't want you to happen.
We did it. We
did.
defied karma or
the
whatever is
gods.
after me right now. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And you're probably wondering why he is here or who he is. So I will let you.
I know
go
why
on.
I am.
Tell the world.
So, my name's Lucian. I'm one of the hosts of the Weekly Geekly, it's Omaha's counterculture podcast. We do a lot of different weird shit. Among that, we do some celebrity interviews, some comic book creator interviews, all which you can find on the site. But we're also one of the flagship shows that started Synergy Nation. Us and Benito Garcia of Wetworks Special Effects and Go RPGs. We both founded this for just kind of a place for people to promote their own stuff and not feel like shamed about doing it, because there's so many times when you're on social media and you feel kind of weird about posting your own YouTube video and be like, hey, check my thing out and subscribe.
Mhm.
You don't want to be like, quote, that guy.
Self-promotion is always a difficult
It
thing
is.
to do correctly.
And it's like, it's so weird. Putting yourself out there is a courageous thing, but
Mhm.
it's more fun to do it when you can do it with other creators.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's make a network that doesn't control you, that doesn't censor you, that doesn't tell you what to post, that doesn't have you on a schedule, that literally just wants to foster a community. And let's see who we can get on this. And we've been lucky enough to now have like 8 shows,
Wow.
including these bad boys.
Yes.
So we're incredibly fortunate for that. It's been fun. We now have like, I would confidently say probably the most diverse podcast community that's out there. Most of them are very specialty. You have like 127 horror podcasts or like 32 true crime podcasts on this network. We've got like EDM, Dungeons and Dragons, another Dungeons and Dragons, drunk riffing to movies, like so much stuff, sci-fi, horror, like just I can't even.
There's something for everyone.
It's
depending
nuts.
On what you like.
We're like
what you don't.
Baskin Robbins. Yeah, we got like 37 flavors or whatever, right?
Yes.
Some of the good thing about that is you might stumble onto it for one thing and then have these other things like, oh, I didn't know I liked like our D&D stuff. I didn't know I liked these
Yeah.
comic book things. It gives you a thing to step into other circles, you know.
And it allows you, a place to at least get that footing. Like, we had one listener that commented on our Facebook. We just tonight aired a fan mail reaction video on YouTube where we just answered a bunch of fan mail. And this one girl was like, hey, you guys are awesome. And she was talking to Nate about how she'd never watched anime in her life. And it was so intimidating because it can be,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like, if you don't know
Where
a
to
thing
start,
about anime...
what you want, what are you looking for?
Yeah, what the hell are you even looking at? Like, you know what I mean? Like, half the time, if you don't know what anime is, you're not going to know. So she was like, well, I'd already been listening to the show, but I started listening to those, and it gave me the confidence to, like, think about it in that way, and then I kind of could understand it. So there's even people that come on and they're like, I like this now. Like, thanks for explaining that to me. But mostly, like, Geekly just started out as, like, comic book and movie reviews. And then we got our first celebrity interview in 2017.
Okay.
And it's been snowballing into some weird Cronenberg of like 5 different dudes and ideas and just, like giant weird thing that I never thought it would become.
But that's the beauty of it. It's allowed to be like natural with its progression.
Oh, yeah.
These different tendrils come out.
It's not like forced or anything.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, exactly. Playful. It's a playful Cronenberg.
dancing
It just
around.
wants to dance with you. It doesn't
Yeah.
want to eat you and absorb you. But Synergy does. Like, Synergy is the Cronenberg, and I want to get a giant picture of all the people from Synergy in one giant Cronenberg and be like, Synergy
Yes.
Nation Network, like absorbing everyone every day or something like that.
Yes.
But,
That would be beautiful.
that's how I look at it. I look at it as one big organism that's just like subconsciously working for its own benefit. Like, everyone's constantly like either talking about each other's shows or like featuring something or interviewing each other or like doing collaboration events and stuff. Like, it's a place for you to feel comfortable creating, pretty much. Yeah.
You want that community kind of ecosystem where you have each other on. You have even though you're different, you can find those kind of dances to step to.
Yeah, like that common ground. Totally. It's weird because people will be like, network. Like, oh, I don't want to join a network. And I was telling him before we came on, like, I had some bad experiences on networks, like with censorship and with like controlling of rights and stuff. So I was like, I don't want to lose any of my stuff. I'm backing out. Yeah. And that's where, me and Benito were like, let's create a place where everyone still owns everything they create. Like, we don't hold any ownership. I tell people, think of it like one of those hardcore kid zines back in the day where people just like photocopy pictures and Sharpied like text and then like printed them out and gave them away. This is like that on the internet for like podcasting. There's like, oh, check out all these cool fucking underground podcasts and shit. Like, I don't know. It's been fun. So we've been doing it for a little over a year, since January of last year. And of course, with COVID, we were pissed as fuck because we had this huge tour thing going on with like a couple different states and Comic-Cons. Oh, wow. It was fun. I was going to do a live Comic-Con in like a vaudeville theater where I was the DM. And I got to come out in like a wizard like thing and have like effects and like sound and shit. It was going to be so dorky. I was so happy. Oh. And we were charging people for it, like tickets. Wow. It was going to be fun. This is the first event we were ever going to do like that. But COVID completely just chopped everything at the knees. So now we're like, we have some funding to make like banners and posters and stuff for like events, but like we don't know when anything's happening. Like, so we're still waiting on that big.
The irons are just getting hot in the fire.
Yeah, dude, and we're waiting on that green light. Like, so we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the work. The bees are buzzing. Like, no one ever stops working. So it's crazy. And I think that's the one thing. I think if you look at every show, we probably put out stuff on the network like 6 days a week. Wow. Like, if you think between all there's 8 shows, you know, so, and most of them are weekly, some of them aren't, some of them are, like, double times a week, so, yeah, we have stuff just about every day, so if you guys are interested in Synergy Nation Network, go to synnation.net, it's synnation.net.
We'll probably put a link underneath.
Oh, yeah,
we will.
Stuff,
I think you guys are, Cheeks. I think it's just Cheeks, right?
I love it. Well,
I think it's just synnation.net/cheeks.
Like
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's what I put it as. So if you go to the synnation.net/cheeks, you can find these guys down there and a little bio about each one of them. If you're curious, you want to learn a little bit more. But also, that's a place for you guys on the homepage. If you are enjoying what you hear from these guys, type in a little message, leave them a comment. You know.
Yes, let us know.
Yeah. Any advice or what you want to
feedback?
Yeah.
Something. We would love it.
Yeah, maybe you want them to talk about something, or like you got questions for them or something like that. I mean, I think that's like one of the most fun parts about doing this is just seeing what people have to say. Some of the running up the tab comments are just horrible as fuck. They're like just the worst things you will ever hear out of a person's mouth. And I think that's why I continue to tune in, is I'm just like, what is this next person going to say, dude? Like, it's so bad to talk about like amputees porn and stuff. Like, it's just like the worst things you don't want to talk about with people. Like, oh my God, it's horrible.
It's kind of magical, though.
It is kind of magical. And like, they're very graceful in their retorts. Like, they never...
Yeah. It never goes to just, like, punching the other guy in the face.
Yeah, they're never, like, yeah, totally.
It's more of, like, there's at least something to say back.
Yeah, there's, like, a tasteful art to how they retort to these horrible, horrible things. And I'm just like, God, that's some talent right there. I'm happy we got those guys. So, I think you guys will be, like, right at home with us, for real. Yeah, I guess this is, like, the inaugural episode for you guys, right?
Yeah,
officially.
Yeah, it is. Yep,
it's a
official.
wagon.
I feel like I should have a sword. I should have come with a sword. I could knight you guys.
I have sticks in my car.
Let me go get some sticks. No. No, but yeah, welcome to the family, guys.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That means so much.
Dig in. I mean, like, just absorb what you want from anybody. And like, if you like something, I'm totally just reach out to them. I know Devin is always, like, starving to do crossovers. He loves them. That's, like, one of his passions in podcasting. It's just like getting crossover events going, and I think it's a fun part of his show. He does Thoughts and Shots, and that's they'll get drunk, they'll make custom cocktails for a movie, and then riff on the movie and make riff tracks during it. It's pretty fun. They'll do like game
Mystery
nights.
Science Theater 3000 kind of stuff.
Exactly, yeah. And it just devolves and gets ridiculous.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure
it's
by the end you're not even watching the movie.
You're like, what the fuck? They're so drunk, man. Like, what are they talking about?
At the end, they're just arguing with each other.
Right.
They're not even watching the movie.
It's actually really funny. Some of them get really dumb and then really fun and then like witty and then you just don't know where it's going. So like, I love that show. If you guys are into that kind of stuff, like even like Drunk History meets Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
Thoughts and Shots is totally your
that.
alley. Yeah.
That
I
sounds
think
great.
they're making the transition to video too. Everyone's kind of like evolving in these different ways, and it's fun, man. I like watching everyone's show just change and get better, you know. And it's like it's always gonna get better. You know what I mean? Like you keep working at it, and you keep like finding new ways to do it. It's never not gonna be exciting.
And with having that community, like they might start different spots, and then you can learn from each other. And
Yeah, there's
Build.
synergy, if you will. Hence the name. Yes. Everyone's like, why'd you name it that? I'm like, I mean, it's pretty, like,
It's a
that's
perfect
a
word.
perfect word, right? I mean, we're all helping each other, right? So yeah, we, little known fact, I'll give you the exclusive,
Go
right?
deep and
All right.
Pictures of Spider-Man. No, so the network's theme was originally going to be centered around, like, Red Dawn, the movie Homefront, that kind of like we have been like the rebellion,
the rebels,
but we're rebelling against like old school media. It's what we called it, like TV and radio and like podcasts is the new way. So we had like I was drawing up all these like ideas of like, oh dude, we could do like this like X-Men Days of Future Past poster, and we're all like dead and wanted, and it's like the new school media or old school media robots are like walking around. Dude, it'd be so fucking cool, and like we had this whole thing lined up like aesthetically. And then I was like, bro, that is so militant. Like, we cannot come at it from that point of view. Like, people are going to be like, fuck these guys. Like, what are you doing? Starting a revolution for podcasts, you nerd. So I was like, nah, bro, we got to chill the fuck out. And we just kind of, like, didn't have a theme for a while. And then the more people we grew, we were like, well, what are we doing? Like, what is the function of the community right now? And I was like, I think it's a network for the sake of saying a network, ironically, I guess. But it's more just a community. And our tagline right now is shows for those with passion. And I think that fits pretty well. Yeah, it's like shows for people that have a passion. So, yeah, if you guys are interested, synnation.net. Again, put it on the screen. TimandEric.com. Like, do one of those.
I will do my darndest. I did get Final Cut, so I'm ready.
Oh, God. I don't know what he's going to do. And it's making me nervous.
Good.
But yeah, no, I'm happy to be here, you guys. This is fun. I like the setup you had. I was telling him I love this giant fucking banner. I need one.
Yeah, I just hate geese, so I don't like looking at it.
You hate geese?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I got
I
a dead duck behind my ear.
Okay.
It kind of goes with that.
Yeah.
Just, geese are terrifying. Like,
They
they're
are.
mean.
Yeah.
They have teeth on their tongues. I got attacked by one for
They
no
have
reason.
teeth on their tongues.
Yeah, it's even on the...
That's not accurate.
No, it is.
No, that's not a real goose.
That's why it has
That's
teeth
not
on
a
its
real
tongue.
goose, though. So that you
No,
can't
they
like
do.
you can't point at that and be like,
They-
that's proof.
No, they reason that it's on there.
That's
because it's a
crazy.
real thing.
I didn't know until I saw that and then looked up a
I knew
picture
it
of a goose.
since it attacked me. Fucking
That's super uncomfortable.
Yeah, no. Imagine, like,
hiss.
they can lick their lips, but it's just teeth rubbing against their teeth.
They hiss at you.
When you say teeth like that, it makes me think of that movie Teeth. Teeth.
That was a movie.
You say it in like a nimble way. Teeth. I don't know why this got me thinking of this, but so story time. I was in New York one time, story time, and I was like waiting for this convention to start, right? And I'm like, I'm bored. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we were like, let's just go do some stuff. My parents were like, we're going to go to the 9/11 memorial and whatever. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And they're like, you should come with us. And I was like, afternoon in New York without my parents with my girlfriend? No, we're going to go do some other shit. Yeah. And so we were like riding the subway figuring out what to do. And we ended up finding a sex museum.
Nice.
Right? And like, whatever. It's actually pretty like historically interesting. They have like the world's first condom and things like that. I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. Like,
but also curious.
Yeah, but I was very curious about it. And so we walk around, and the end of it, like right before you go back, you get your bags from the book place where you left them. There's an entire room that was like dedicated to animal sex and like the patterns of
Like the behaviors and like the mating.
Bro, it's the
rituals and
most
stuff.
uncomfortable museum I'd ever been in my life.
That seemed I'm like
So it was like, okay, there's a giant statue of two pandas fucking, I get it, like, you know, and then like, oh, the ritual habits of a wolf and whatever, and then you turn the wall, and the last wall before you leave, like, they left the whole museum on this last note. They were like, how do we end this remarkable museum? The last thing you see is an entire wall that they have taken like an article and they like carved it into the wall, like the picture and everything in the article is just like, and it's like the necrophiliac habits of the male something duck. And I read it, and it was all about how this guy just sat there and watched a duck just pretty much fuck another dead duck, and like how that is apparently very common in this one type of duck. And I was like,
it's interesting, but
that's something.
I like couldn't speak for like 10 minutes, and my girlfriend's like, we need to leave, and I was just like,
imagine them putting that on the wall.
I took a picture of it. I was like, I can't believe this is real.
Like, that took time to put on the wall. Like they were the whole time like,
yeah,
this is how
it was like how they do the one of those like Washington memorials where all the names are carved in. It was like that quality in like marble type stone. I was like, who spends this much money on? Was this a piece you bought, or did you have it installed? Like, oh my god! And where's this gonna go when this place closes down?
Dude,
like,
some
these are
you know those rich men are those rich perverted like
some penthouse in Brooklyn.
They're gonna be sitting there like.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't match anything. It's just
No.
some giant cube of granite that happens to have that under there.
Yeah, they have a minimalist house. That's the only art they have. It's just.
That'd be horrible, dude. Do you know how disturbing it would be to walk into that dude's apartment, which is like, mind you, a $24 million loft in like Midtown Manhattan, and like he has no art. It's minimalist as fuck, and the only thing in his house or little thing is that.
Yes.
What does that say about that guy? That's the only piece of art.
I
Like,
mean-
I'd be like, I'm getting the fuck out of here, bro. I'm not drinking anything. I'm leaving.
This is not a place I'm allowed to.
This is like some 50 Shades of Grey with no consent. Like, I don't want to be here. Like,
And ducks.
and
Pulp-
ducks. It's gonna be like Pulp Fiction or some shit.
That's a great.
So yeah, that was an interesting thing that happened
that's a good-
in my
It's a
life.
good story.
Yeah, thank you. Whew.
Nice. Look at that. He's ready.
Passing the drinks around.
Yes.
Come prepared. I like it.
So what got you into like podcasts and stuff like that? Like what
No one
got
cared
you into
about a
this
thing I said.
Mm.
That's the blunt way to say it.
So you
I've
needed
tried
a
to answer
platform?
this so many different ways, and I'm like, it's the only way I can say it. Literally, like, I was the kid that when everyone else is going out getting laid, I was like,
Dude, did you know that Rhino in this one comic book of Spider-Man actually had a mechanical version of it?
and they're like, bro, I'm at a party, I'm like talking to this girl, like,
Talk to
Not-
me when you get your dick wet.
I had no game. I had no game back in the day, so it's just like,
Fuck it, I'm gonna make a podcast.
I say it like I'm 16. This was 4 years ago, in my mid 20s, mind you. So I was like, I don't know. I got sick of no one really giving a shit, and no one being able to like at least try to get into it to like see what I was getting so hyped up about. They were like, I just don't even care.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk to me about horror movies, or don't talk to me about comic books.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck it. Someone in the world will care about my opinion on this. Like, someone will be like, I agree with this. So, validation. Posted my first podcast, and like some people were like, oh, that's cool. So I kept doing it, and then like went through a couple of different people who like were on the show but didn't work out, or there was like personal issues or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually I was like, okay, it's getting to the point where like I've gotten some pretty cool interviews and substantial like episodes. I'm gonna start protecting my baby, right? So you start like thinking of it in a different thing. You're like, okay, this isn't just a hobby anymore. I want this to actually go somewhere.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't until last year when I started actually going to school for broadcasting at Iowa Western.
Wow.
So I'm trying to get that to open up some more doors, and
Of course.
I mean, we'll see. I might not even be doing the podcast in like the fashion I want to in the future, but I'm always going to do it because it's just another creative outlet that keeps me like sane, you know. But yeah, it started out as just like, I don't know, I just want to talk, you know, like
Yeah.
And especially with like those kind of subjects, a lot of those people you're not going to find and willing to talk to on the street, or like, you know, like those are those kind of people usually seem to be, they're not the ones that are in the social parties and stuff like that. A lot
And
of
I
the time.
am, which is so awkward. That's like I'm like the two things that shouldn't be together. Like the guy that talks about this stuff and is really outgoing.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
so it's just uncomfortable for everyone.
So then having that and then able to reach those people when they're not,
Yeah,
you know, it's a good thing to have.
it's a fun feeling too, man. I've been doing this for in December it'll be 5 years.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So to get finally like a substantial amount of feedback from people after I've been like asking for it. And, like, you know, like you get to that point where you're just like, is anyone even ever gonna like interact in that way, or is this an expectation that I shouldn't have at this point? But no, dude, it just randomly started popping off, and I was like, okay, this is unexpected, but apparently we're doing something right, you know, like people like it in that way. So I don't know, I have no idea what I'm even doing anymore. I'm doing so much shit at the same time that just I'm juggling all the time. So I've actually I hired on 2 new people to help me script write for one of my series that I'm doing.
Nice.
Which is a huge storytelling, heavy scripted character acting like thing, and it's so much fucking work because each episode's like 15 to 25 minutes, but that's a month of work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like scripting and researching.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that goes into it.
It's so tiresome. So I'm like, okay, on the episodes that I'm not particularly fond of or that I'm not
You'll hand off
passionate towards in that way, yeah, I'll be like, okay, if you're into this character, you can help me write it, right? And I'll put a spin on it. And
that's fun.
That's awesome.
yeah, it's a really fun idea. I'm already like getting merch ready. I was telling him I got like an 80s slasher style poster coming out to promote it. So if you guys are into that kind of stuff, horror movies, slashers, check out Dr. Ravenwood's Slasher Files on YouTube. And you can find all 5 episodes that are out right now. So we're doing Pennywise next. That'll be pretty fun.
Ooh.
I'm excited. It'll be really weird. I got a guy who's actually, I hired him on to play Pennywise.
Oh shit!
So I'm really excited. You know, like
you can do it.
No, he contacted me. He was like, "Hey man, I really like what you're doing, and I really want to do a Pennywise if you're doing it next." And I was like, "Actually, I am. Who told you? Like, who do I need to fire?"
He's letting out my secrets.
Yeah, like come on. I actually make everyone that joins sign a non-disclosure agreement, and they have to send it back to me as a voice file of them reading it with their name and all that. Because I don't want anyone spilling the beans on stuff before I can. I'm like, I don't want anyone knowing. Because then, if you know, like, the next character I'm going to do, maybe based on the pattern of my old episodes, you'll maybe be able to get how I'm going to do it. And I don't ever want that.
Those twists and turns in your head.
I'm locking this shit up tighter than Star Wars, man. Like, I'm not giving out a single detail of, like, what's going on. If you're not involved, you shouldn't know unless you're my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I literally sit there and pillow talk my girlfriend to sleep, like, guess what's happening on season 2, episode 1 of Ravenwood? I already wrote it. And she's like, what? And we'll, like, stay up for, like, 30 minutes talking about it. And then I'm like, I love you. Good night. Like,
do you do that with the actors, too? You can only let them know what their character would know to kind of keep that stuff?
So it depends on the character. Like, when I did Leatherface, I knew who I was working with, but I didn't know what I was going to do with them. Because it was my first episode, too. So I was like, okay, I have to write this as I'm going, and this is going to be the formula. So how am I going to use them in the story? And Julian Henning, he plays, I forget so many character names.
Yeah.
The sheriff in that, and Louis Cavalieri from Running Up the Tab. He plays Dr. Philip Rigsby, who's a returning field agent for me that, like, constantly gets fucked. Like in the Freddy episode, spoiler alert, he is doing research on site in Springwood. And towards the end of it, he mentions that he hasn't been asleep for, like, 52 hours, and he thinks Freddy's coming after him and shit. And then before I even played that clip and went to his correspondence, I mentioned how I have Hypnosil, which in those movies is the dream suppressor. So, and then afterwards, I'm like, maybe I should have supplied him with some Hypnosil, and, like, I start laughing about it, like I'm all, like, evil and shit. Like, there's so much twisted carnage in it, and I love it, because my character is like a fucking violence pervert. Like, he describes all this shit, and he's, like, getting behind the mind of all these killers, but he's into it. And you're like, why is this guy into it? That's fucking weird.
I mean, especially nowadays, like, with podcasts and stuff, people have that. You see, like, the criminal ones and, like, the ones about, like, murderers and stuff are some of the most popular. Cause has that kind of mindset of into those kind of, like...
It's a weird fascination. Yeah. Like, I mean, you look at the movie, what is it, Natural Born Killers, right? Have you seen that?
I have not.
Oh. Oliver Stone movie. Woody Harrelson and this other chick, and they play, like, a couple that's essentially, like, the... their names are Mickey and Mallory, but they're like the Bonnie and Clyde of killing people. And they just go on this huge killing tour through Route 66. And it's like makes them famous and shit. And it's kind of talking about how we all glorify violence in that way. Like, we look at serial killers and we glorify them. Like, we look at them like they're special. Yeah, you know, they're not anything to be, like, in awe about. Like, they're sick, you know? But, like, we have that kind of a culture. So I wanted to make something that was mirroring that, and the catch in this is that Ravenwood is from a dimension. Like, all these broadcasts are coming from Dimension X. Dimension X is a very bland way of saying, like, the Twilight Zone, or just a different place.
Yeah.
He knows it as,
Slightly off, yeah.
Dimension X, but in Dimension X, Friday the 13th, Child's Play, Jeepers Creepers, all these movies, when they aired in our time, effective became reality in that dimension.
So the movie was what happened.
Yeah.
In that situation.
So, or no, like, as soon as it releases, those events start happening
Okay.
in Dimension X. So, like, all of these events have already transpired in Dimension X. And as we get new horror movies, it's going to alter timelines or affect events that have already placed. So I'll have to, like, go in and do updates or, like, different episodes. But it's going to be pretty fun to see, like, where I want to go with it, because I will spoil one more thing. The first season is kind of your like your creme de la creme of slashers, right? The best top 10.
The big ones, yeah.
Right.
Those are the first ones you go for,
It's the
right?
one you want to go for, right?
Yeah.
The second season, we've decided, me and my producer decided it's going to be group slashers. So we're talking like Ghostface and the Fireflies and anybody that's in a group that has a
like
history of
partners and
killing.
teams or
Yeah.
too.
The Saw legacy. I did a Jigsaw episode, but now in this one I'm talking about the whole group and how they all function together. So and then the third season's going to be like, okay, if they're not the main ones, these are going to be just the other ones that are indie and you maybe don't know about, like
More
Hatchet,
obscure, the
stuff
more
like
you
that.
have to be. If you're into the scene, this is like your favorite, but no one else knows.
Yeah,
about it,
like
you
it's
know?
probably still on Shudder, but it's
Yeah.
not going to be like in a household name. So I want to pay homage to those kind of ones too, like Maniac Cop, just weird stuff that I think is fun. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But like behind this, I've got this whole subplot working in that universe with his character and other characters, and it's slowly kind of building, and you don't really notice it if you're just gonna watch one episode. But as you watch like 1 to 5, and then like 5 to 10, you're gonna be like, wait, what happened between like 6 and 8 to where this is different, and like why is it different? You know, like
there's like that meta narrative that ties them all together.
yeah. So I think it's a fun idea to have that kind of a meta narrative, but then have like a weird meta show, like. It's real to him, but to you, it's all fake. So technically, you shouldn't feel scared by all this, but he's making you feel scared. So a lot of people listened to it and they said, I couldn't finish it. And I was like, is it bad? They're like, no, it's not bad. I just felt really dirty after like 3 or 4 minutes of hearing you talk like that, and like the music to it and how it's paced in time. They were like, it just made me feel really gross. I was like, good.
Yeah, that's
exactly what I want.
Because the people that do like it are gonna love it.
They're gonna love it. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I'm super stoked just to see where this goes. We're halfway through season 1 right now. We've picked up a couple actual professional voice actors now. I was like,
Wow.
Someone's like, do you want me to talk to your agent? I was like, no one's getting paid. Like, here, let's talk. And they're like, no, I still want to do it. I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I don't have money right now, man. It's all voluntary. It's a passion project. Like, you're awesome. I love your work.
Amazing, but
We've got like maybe 20 people on the roster right now.
Wow.
And so it's like kind of mind numbing to have to go back and like send me another take of your voice, because I need to see if you're gonna be good for this part. Like,
or find
talk for me, you know, or like find a video of them talking so you can kind of hear them and be like, okay, that's kind of this
like the
person.
different voices they do and like see like how you could make a character or what character would tie into that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of back and forth. I've definitely got multiple like Facebook groups for like different reasons for that show. So. It's nuts, man. I think this is the most work I've ever put into anything ever, to be honest with you. But I think it's going to be fun as fuck.
Yeah, that's worth it.
It's amazing.
That's so sick, dude.
But,
Wow.
Yeah.
Check out episodes 1 through 5. They are going to, I mean, the link to the website will be in the description, so please check it out.
Yeah, they're all
Doing
up
some
now
great things.
on the Geekly. It's just another sub-series we do. This is 1 of 5. So we got a Star Wars one. We've got a practical skills from video games to real life,
Nice.
which
That's
is pretty
sick.
dope. It's
I'm
called
about that.
Skill
Yeah,
Point.
I'm super
that's an
about
Eagle
Bro,
Scout.
It's a very
Yeah.
good place for you to start if you want to know how to start learning about something. Like we do firearms, martial arts, virtual racing, cold weather survival, just
Teaches
random
you the
stuff.
basics, like either the rules or like how things work, and then what place to go from there.
Exactly, and like good resources for you to utilize to get into those communities and learn what you should know, and like how you're going to be approached in those communities. Like if you're going to learn how to shoot a gun, this is what you should know walking in. You know, like
lingo, know what.
no, not to do this.
Yeah.
Like the basics. You know, like that all of us just don't think about. Like, so yeah, it's a fun series for that. Then we've got our anime series. We got 2 different anime series that we're doing. And outside of that, we just started a Star Wars one called This Is the Way. And I'm really fucking stoked because next Sunday we are doing an interview with one of my favorite Twitch streamers named Director Chronic. He exclusively streams Battlefront 2, which is like their Call of Duty Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the dude is insane. He downloads all these mods so he can play as like any character in the universe. I'm like, bro, be Cad Bane. Like, come on. Like, oh, it's so great. So he has been building this community, and he's Director Chronic because he's making a spoof off Director Krennic from Rogue One.
Okay.
And he calls his team the Garrison, like his group. And everyone can like salute the Garrison and put like Death Trooper emojis in there, and like it's really cool. And like when you like donate bits, it's like you sent reinforcements to the Garrison or provided 100 battle droids or like just certain stuff.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's so rad. And like his background, which is one of my favorite things, he's got a huge green screen, and he's in this little corner, but you'd never know. It looks like he's in an office in Scarif as like things are blowing up and like
he's in the fucking ship and everything. That's
it's
awesome.
so cool. He's got all these just dope layouts, and I'm such a big fan of his. So I've been reaching out to him, and I was like, hey, if you do an interview with us, we'll probably be able to send you some Omaha steaks. And he was like, I go, honestly, not right away, but maybe like later down the line when they have a sale or something. He's like, all right, cool. And we've been like in communication. And we finally had like an hour-long phone meeting the other week and talked about it and got it planned out for this Sunday. And I'm super stoked because he's like one of the dudes that revived that game from the dead, in my opinion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That game,
it's been kind of off. Like it was, it had a good reception, but it seemed like it had higher expectations. And so
oh yeah, well, and then the pay-for-play thing stunted
EA kind of
stunted
That's
that.
just EA.
Yeah, which was EA, but all the possibility of new content for it is there again because of all these new announcements we've got with Star Wars games. And now that EA doesn't have exclusive rights to it, we know that they're going to have the ambition to make a third Battlefront or at least make more updates for the game because there's 19 million new players on PC alone, not even just like the consoles. So there's plenty of reason for them to do it. Now they're just trying to go, okay, who do we have available that's not working on Battlefield 6, and who can we move over to this project to just start it? Like, because they only have a certain amount of people, which, in my opinion, I think that's the dumbest move you can have. Well, let's only hire like 500 developers. Why not 2,000? Like, you know it's gonna work if you pump out all these games.
Yeah,
then
you're
just
gonna
do
get
it.
the money for it. Like,
Freelance
they
them.
will.
You know, like do something. Like I think there's no excuse to
But
not
isn't
already
there-
be started
I
on
mean,
it.
Having too many people can be a problem then? At
Too many
some
cooks
point?
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Not if all the
I guess it
Not if
depends
all
on
the
what they're
people
doing.
aren't cooks, they're just
Yeah.
assistants to
Yeah.
the one cook.
Yeah.
If there's like one
Yeah, I
guy
guess it
overseeing it.
depends on-
Put
they're
John
not the
Favreau
creators.
in there,
Yeah.
right? And then just all these other gaming guys work for him, and he's like, just make it happen.
Do this, do
Like,
that.
and they have to figure it out. Like,
Mhm.
2,000 geeks can figure out something like that. Like, I don't know if you guys have
is a
seen the
fact.
channel on YouTube called Corridor Crew. It's like 10 dudes, visual effects company, and they work magic. They made like a better CGI Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian than what we were given.
Wow.
Like, they do magic things. Like,
Jeez.
and if they can do stuff like that off the budget they have, which is a lot more than all of us, but is still not a major motion
Yeah.
picture budget, like, we could do it. Like, you know, so I don't know. It's just fun to see that kind of ability because it inspires me, you know what I mean, to do stuff like that. Like, I just started getting into like different intros and outros for our videos and stuff. Like, I put a bunch of weird GIFs like flashing in between our logo to like the music, and like it's so stupid that I love it. It's like stoned Ghostface from Scary Movie, and then Bubbles and a bunch of creatures in a circle dancing around a pentagram, and then like Evil Dead, and he's like groovy, like just stupid shit, and then it's like right into the show. Like,
Yeah.
I just love putting stupid quirks on stuff. And I think that's why I keep doing this, because I can always be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make his voice sound stupid right there." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just have the
You that
power.
fun to just to fuck something up.
You can just make it
Sometimes
sound
you
so
gotta just
stupid.
fuck something a little bit.
There's so many times where I'll be editing a video, and I'll just put the whole video in like Darth Vader voice,
Yeah.
like down a couple octaves, and it's like just so ridiculous. Like sometimes our laughs just sound horrible, and then it motivates me to go, wait a minute. and then I clip out the laugh and I keep the effect on it and change the effect on the rest, and I just layer it over the regular laugh, and I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I started developing that ear for it, which I think is fun. So.
I mean, it's like that's the creative is when you play around with it, you're able to find when you can use it the right way.
Oh, I'm so proud of one in particular thing. So on Ravenwood, in the Jeepers Creepers episode, there's like a small intro where he does like the kind of the forward, like they do in Twilight Zone, where he's like, a man trapped in time.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. This is the case of the scary door. Like that part. I was doing that part. And then after it cut back into the music, and it just had a bunch of witness accounts of what they think they saw that night, and like people like recalling it. And I had Zack from the show. He came in to record in the studio, and I was like, man, I don't know what part I want you to play. So I just threw him a part I wrote called Old Man Withers. And it was supposed to be just your cranky old man from like the Harbinger guy from like fucking Cabin in the Woods. And I had him come in and lay down a bunch of stuff, and the one that he did stupid was the best one that he did.
Yeah.
So I put it in, and I put so many effects on it. Like I was layering shit on there because I was like, I don't want anyone to know it's him.
Yeah.
Like I want that to be the beauty behind this. So it's like all airy and like bassy, and like
It's awesome.
at the same time it's super whiny. It sounds like a prospector.
He's like, I know what it is. It's the devil. Come down from here to take the souls of man.
Yeah, it's just like something you hear in Rob Zombie or something. And it
Yes.
fit perfectly in between like this cutesy girl's voice. She's like, I don't know where my brother went. It's all dramatic. And then it's like, I know what it is. Like, God. Yeah. And then like how I do those is I'll take clips. I'll have you say like 3 lines, and then I'll cut each line and layer them and do like your line, her line, someone else's line. And then come back to that person, so that it would come back to him, and I'm just laughing so hard, and everyone's listening to it like, "Oh my god, who the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "Guess." Like,
I'll never tell.
I'll never tell. Yeah, like it's so fucking great. That's the beauty of this kind of craft, man. Is like you can make yourself laugh.
Yeah.
You can make other people laugh. You can make things dramatic as fuck.
Yeah.
You want to press home a point, you can. The editing is where that power is.
Yeah, that's like I was hearing someone talk about how like editing and directing, how they tie together, and like some of like the best movies in the world are directed by a man and edited by a woman, and like the man kind of just shoots all the film, he gets everything, and then the woman takes it and like twists it and crafts it, and blends
molds
it,
it. Yeah,
and, like,
totally.
takes this fucking sperm and actually turns it into like, a beautiful.
I'm
thing.
doing the real work. You just gave me the sperm of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh god. Now I gotta. Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta play this real quick for you guys. Just a
Yes,
small little clip of it.
I'm very excited.
I'm so. Oh my
I
god.
need to hear this man.
This is so gross. Okay, so this is from Dr. Ravenwood, episode 4, titled "Where'd You Get Those Peepers?"
Nice.
I like that.
I'm gonna try and find it real quick.
Okay.
It's just in there. Shut up. Okay, hold on.
Maybe we deserve this. Maybe it's just our time to go. All I know is he won't take me without a fight.
Like, it's so ridiculous.
Oh, I know. You won't take me without a fight. That's funny.
Yes.
I know what it is. It's the devil. Come down to earth. Take souls of man.
Like, you would never know that's him if you
also sound
listen
he's
to
having
him.
fun with it.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
probably loving
Because I
it.
kind of had to loosen him up a little bit. He was
Yeah.
very, like... He was very, like,
He was trying to
trying
play
to
it
do
hard,
other voices. Yeah, he's playing it, like, serious and dramatic. And I was like, all right, man, do, like, an old man
It's
voice.
like the picture's like,
Yeah.
let's do a funny one.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, like, the good one. I was like, yes. So I learned very quickly, like, if I can just break someone out of that awkward shell.
Yeah.
And then kind of direct them, just nudge them in a certain emotion and let them play with it. Like, it's so much fun. Like, but then some people, like, have a very natural gift for it. Like, I'm not going to say this I will say it. But if you're listening, don't get cocky. My girlfriend is really good at this because she has that natural way to, like, affect the tone of her voice. Like, she could fake cry if she wanted to, and everyone would think she's crying. So, like, I think that kind of physicality and acting and stuff works for her. But, like I said, don't get cocky. Like, I don't want her being like, I can do any role I want now. But like, no, man, that's not how it works. Like,
I'll never say this to you in person. I'll deny it when you bring it up.
You need work. No, I'm just joking. You're amazing and beautiful. I love you.
And
You're
voice acting
talented.
has always been something to me, like storytelling and like speaking, like just and creating characters and stuff has always been like one of my interesting things. And it's like,
Dude, come on the project.
I'd love to.
I need more writers. I need more voice actors. If you guys
Paul
are
would
interested,
kill it.
I would love to have more
I do
people
all
on
the
this.
voices in the D&D. It's fun. That's why I love. That's part of the fun
Yep.
of being a dungeon master. Is you get all these different voices. You can go from
Yep.
an
I
old
have-
Southern drawl.
I
To
have a
something.
gift for you. I have a present for just you, Paul.
Oh,
Okay?
I'm excited.
I have something in my digital possession which I believe will shake the very core of what you think about D&D podcasts.
Oh yeah.
I really think it's going to be like revolutionary, man. Like it's a single adventure session that wasn't intended to be a single adventure session, but was so fucking good that it was like very high episode on our play count. But then I made this secret page of the website that you can't get
access,
to
yeah.
unless you
Unless
know
you
it.
know the actual thing.
And there's a password to it.
Oh shit.
It's called TWG Underground. It's for our true fans.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know more, go to sinnation.net/TWG. You'll see a link in there, and the password's actually on our website. And I'll give it to you. But there's the only place you can listen to our D&D episode. It's in the vault.
That's exciting.
Wow.
I'll give you the keys to the vault.
That's
I really
fun.
want you to listen
Yeah.
to it.
Because,
It's like an hour and a half, but there's so much craftsmanship in it. It's what made me want to do Ravenwood and made me want to
That's
do
awesome.
voice acting
you
because
can see that higher quality you could aspire to in those kind of stories.
yeah, and I
Mhm.
think you of all people would
Mhm.
drastically appreciate the voice acting because I know you do that, and be like the narrative.
Mhm.
It was so fucking ridiculous.
That's
like
fun. That's
it's
so good.
oh, it was so good. So
was
I
it more
think
just
you'd
like
enjoy
the
it.
characters or like the actual story that was making it so good? Like was it
Both.
more about the okay?
I think it was
It was
both
a
because we
dance.
gave them so much range on what to do with their characters that what they came up with was just fucking ridiculous, right? So then we had to take that seriously in a story.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
But the story was like not serious. It was like a jokey story that had actual consequence. So like it was meant to be this kind of adventure where you're like, oh, it's a Saturday morning cartoon. But then you realize, oh wait, like the whole town wants to kick their ass.
Yeah.
Like things like that start
They're taking
happening.
this
And-
seriously.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you're like, fuck, what the hell's going on? Like but like the way they played their characters gave me so much room to do like sound effects in the background
Mhm.
that I think it's a work of art. I'm so
That's
proud of it. But you can't even listen to it unless you have this
Yeah.
password and this website.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you, man. I think you'll really like.
I mean,
please,
yeah.
in the next 2 days, please listen to it,
I'll
and
be
like,
driving
I want to
tomorrow.
know what I want to know
Yep.
what you think. Like to
I
this,
love it, yeah.
because
I mean, you're hyping it up. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I
No,
haven't really had another person that would want to. You guys are into D&D, like you're into that
Mhm.
stuff. Benito was on it, so like he knows about it.
So you don't have anyone to fangirl.
Yeah, there's no one else to fangirl with me about this, and I'm just like, guys, please, like get into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, dude.
And it's based on a character I used to play called Balthazar, who was the worst person in the world. He was like the guy that only does shit for money.
Yeah.
He's just a horrible
Has
fucking
no
asshole.
morals. Doesn't
Yeah,
give a fuck.
chaotic evil, like
Mhm.
just fucking. I don't care. But he dies, and he in a side adventure, which is the origin for this. He has a whole ragtag team of time traveling bandits
Oh.
that they go around and
okay.
rob different realities, and
Oh, I thought
they
you were talking about
learn
time bandits. I was like-
kind of, and then they learn that in his death he plays them a holographic message. They learn that he hid like 90% of their actual treasure somewhere else for their own benefit because they're super destructive. Yeah, they're gonna. He's like, I knew you would fucking ruin it, and it's like there's effect over my voice and shit. It's so funny because I'm a dragonborn, so he's got to be like big and
Yeah,
bulky.
he's
You know?
gotta be Mr. Man.
It's so funny. There's really fun characters they interact with. I really want to make more of them. Like this one can't ever be duplicated. We filmed a second episode. It got lost.
Oh,
It's lost. I cannot get it. Like there's no way I could even make it. It was actually a good episode, and some of the voice actors don't want to do it anymore. Like one of them is like, nah, I don't really want to. So
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to like recast that character.
No,
Mhm.
Well, just make a whole new fucking thing, you know. So
Yeah.
that's
well, my thing is right now I want to make a show on the side, like once I finish season 1 of Ravenwood and I can like just breathe. like
have some
Yeah.
freedom to look at other things.
yeah,
Yeah.
I want to write the first kind of one-off that I want to do now where it's essentially like a dungeon crawl, right? The premise is it takes place at a tavern, like 99% of D&D starts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
yeah.
It's
Where
easy
ours
as well.
started.
Essentially,
Perfect.
like you come in, you can't pay your bill, so I don't even give you a fucking choice. I hit a button, your chair goes through the floor, like you fall down.
Yeah.
You have to complete this gauntlet dungeon challenge
Yeah.
or
Or you die.
and if you get captured or like if something happens like that, then you just have to do the dishes. So there's like multiple things that could happen, but you're like, I really don't want to do those dishes. Like,
yeah, that's fun. That's a good little.
yeah,
I love that.
so there's like a whole fucking like labyrinth underneath
tavern,
it.
It's just the tavern owner has been so mad at people not.
Yeah, he built an entire labyrinth and like coliseum and like challenges
It
and
has
puzzles.
like monsters and shit in his thing just to fuck with people.
And we actually worked out the mechanics to playing a coliseum fight in D&D. Like we made a coliseum version of D&D where you are in a coliseum, you have move strategies you can do with different people, like, so we're gonna apply some of that to it, I think. So it'd be really fun.
I had an arc in a Coliseum that was. I tried to do it as because like I'm a big Rome guy. So
Yeah.
I'm a big like ancient Rome kind of guy. And it's a fun concept to play with. Like you can have the animals, you can have other people and they're slaves that you're kind of friends with,
And then the environment changes too.
Yeah, different setups.
So ours,
water battles and stuff.
Ours, there was you can only come out these two sides. The Coliseum was about yay big. And it was all, square and accurate and stuff graphed out. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't being that big. And then you come out both long sides, and then in the middle there were like 4 pillars.
Yeah.
That we considered about like 15 feet tall. Mm-hmm. So depending on your race and class and all that, your movement's different. But then we would alter the movement mechanics for getting up and down, so it would be a little bit harder to get up if you're like a dwarf, and easier for an elf and things like that. But it wouldn't,
like the handholds are farther space. So can't reach
exactly. Yeah. But then depending on like what you're already doing, you could like react with, okay, well, I'm gonna climb up like right now as a reaction. You know what I mean? It was different. We tried to like employ some different mechanics with movement and stuff. So I don't know. I'm just trying to like think outside the box, do what I've been doing, and just keep making new stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think honestly though, if you guys are interested in helping out on Ravenwood in any way,
I'd love to.
I'd love it, man.
That sounds great.
The more people I got in the pot, and the more voice actors I got, especially because I'm gonna run out of people. You're gonna play a role, and then I don't want you to play this other role because this role was so goddamn good that they're gonna know you're this guy.
It's like, you can't play Harry Potter. Harry Potter. He plays other stuff, but he's still fucking Harry Potter.
Right. Exactly. He can't be Bruce Willis's kid in that movie. He's just Harry Potter. Like, But yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna need more people for voice acting eventually, but I also just need people to help me write because there's some characters that I don't know the lore behind. Yeah. Like, I got a couple people helping me on Pennywise right now, so I'm good on that, I think. But yeah, I'm excited. It's just gonna keep getting weirder and weirder.
So like growing up and stuff with like writing, was that always like a outlet for you then?
It wasn't. I don't think it was something I was naturally aware of. I don't think it's something that like I never as a kid sat down and like wrote a story and it was like my mom was like, "Dear God, this boy's a prodigy." You know,
like a big reader then.
It was yeah. I read a lot. I got in and out of it with puberty, and things like that as I got a little older. But then as that subsided, and I was in like my early 20s. I got really big into graphic novels again and like D&D and doing all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of came secondhand that like my imagination was churning like that. Yeah. And I always had an overactive imagination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was the little kid.
The best though, isn't it?
Yeah, I was the little kid that was like hopping around the fucking playground and like pretending like I was Toad from X-Men.
Yeah.
And like people are like, "What the fuck is wrong with that guy?"
I created a cult in elementary school.
That's awesome.
I created a cult called the Touchy Club.
What?
I would call out hits. I was like a mafia boss. That guy was evil, and I made up a story. And they're like, "You got it, man!" And they ran up and just poked him in the stomach until he fell over.
We're the Touchies.
They just poke you.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's so.
Oh, dude. Okay. That makes me think of this random game that I once made when we were like at that age where your parents kind of force you to go to youth group at a church, and you're like, oh great. I went to that West Side one, West Side on 156 in Dodge. It's like this huge fucking church. It's a coliseum. You could see people like rows up. When me and my friends would go with our parents on Sundays, like in middle school or whatever, across from Lifegate, we'd be like, one of us would be sitting in, their mom would be like, we have to sit up front. God loves us. And we're like, okay, like chill out. And then like my parents or the other parents would be like, sit in the balcony, whatever, fuck it, Like we would look at each other during the songs, and if one of your friends went like a blow dart, you had to fall to the ground like you died until they came over and tugged on your left ear. And if they never did it, you had to like just lie there. And like people at first thought that like all my friends were having like seizures and shit. Like,
oh no! Yeah, I did a similar game in school. Like I was in school and we made little like daggers out of paper. Like rolled up paper really, really, really tight, and they all hurt if you hit
Oh
them.
fuck.
And we'd like walk up, and you try to slit their neck. Like in the middle of the class one day, I was like army crawling up and slit his neck, and he has to fall on the ground and like die as loud as possible.
That's great. I
It was
love it.
amazing. I got
Great
so much
minds
trouble
think
for
alike,
it.
right? I love that kind of shit though. Like I was always into like pranks and trying to be
Yeah.
creative with people. So like the podcast was just second nature. I was like, well, if I can get a couple other people on that are like good at talking with me, then like it'll just come second nature. And
You gotta play around with it.
yeah, and
Yep.
dude, it was a lot of experimenting, a lot of format changing, and like a lot of different people came and gone. Like, you know, people like, oh, I want to do it, and then they turns out like, oh, I don't want to actually
I
do
wanted
it.
to-
Like,
Yeah, I wanted
you know,
to try
like,
it.
I want to
Yeah.
like say that I'm doing it, or like
They wanted to taste
be
it.
there,
They
you know,
wanna
like
eat it, but they don't want to make it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, I want people that are gonna like help me make the bacon, you know, and like
Yep.
I'm fortunate enough to now have 4 other hosts on the show that all intermittently come in and out and do their own shows and do shows with me. So it's like it's very easy
awesome.
now to like
Mhm.
say, okay, well now we can put out 2 episodes a week
Yeah.
versus like 2 years ago, it wasn't the weekly,
once
it was
a
the
month.
bi-weekly
Yeah.
geekly. Like I was every other week at best. Like so, it's grown, and I think that's one thing that like, dude, you're never gonna grow doing creative stuff like this if you don't try to push yourself like that when you're ready for it. But also if you don't try to keep putting out content.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
You gotta,
You know?
even if it's not, even if you don't know what you're doing,
Right.
just- that's with any art or anything
Yeah.
you have to learn. You have to, like music or anything. You have to keep trying it. And
Yep.
Yeah, I would guarantee.
it's gonna suck for the first like 100 times. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I would guarantee if you go to my first podcast I ever put out,
You're
it's
gonna
shit.
cringe, yeah.
I left
mean,
it
I
up
don't
because
know
it
if-
is shit, and I want everyone to see how I went from shit on December 17th of 2016 to like,
Mhm.
oh my god, what is he doing on February 28th, 2022
Mhm.
or whatever.
I
You
mean,
know?
that feels like, especially with podcasts, because it is more of a new medium and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like everyone's first 5 podcasts, you're like, I don't even want to listen.
Like,
to
what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, like, where do you interview someone? Let me listen to that. You guys have had a lot of interviews on. I was like, holy
Yeah,
shit.
it's been almost all interviews
Yeah,
with people.
How many have you got now?
We are now, because I counted for SoundCloud, we are on 35 today.
Woo!
Yep, and we started at May of 2020,
Damn.
right? And I'd say like probably like 7 of those are without guests,
Hmm.
just like us chilling.
Mm.
And I was going to talk to you later about maybe doing some more stuff like that and changing and adding some formatting to certain things would be fun.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to always play King's Cup, but we haven't played it much recently.
Mm.
But we always just get really
That's
turned.
fun. Just as a Facebook live stream at the end. We always
Yeah.
just,
Mm-hmm. But
That's
yes,
cool.
that sounds great. I'm super down for new ideas, Paul. I would love to evolve it. Dude, you should. Our first podcast, we were filming on Reese's iPhone 10 on like a few books and no mic, and we would
Yeah.
just use that.
Oh,
And
damn.
It was really
My first podcast, I was yelling into a laptop. I was like right here, like I don't have a microphone or a camera. Like, hey, what's up? This is me talking, and I just like adjusted it. Like,
Mhm.
it was bad. But hey, humble beginnings, man. Everyone
It's
starts
important.
somewhere, and it's the fact that you're trying to hone the craft. That's the
Mhm.
whole point.
yeah,
So, I
time
mean,
to grow.
New people that are just now thinking about, hey, do I want to create a podcast or a channel on
Start
YouTube or
trying.
make music on Spotify? Like, it's never not gonna suck when you start. It's always gonna suck because you don't have a frame of reference.
Mhm.
You have no
Even
reference
if you do,
to
like,
know.
you have a reference of like I've seen these other podcasts, but
Right.
when doing it, it's completely.
It's completely
Mhm.
different, and you could think, oh, I'm nailing this and doing that, but it might not come off that way, or it might read different. So like, I encourage you to take chances with your content. Try stuff that you normally wouldn't do, and see if you like it. Because if anything, you're making this for you.
Mhm.
Like I tell people, like the podcast is what it is. Like we've done jobs, we've gotten sponsors, we've done cool stuff because of it, but it's therapy. Like above anything
Yeah.
else, this is me
Mhm.
organizing my thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
and I can go back to my thoughts and be like, yep, I remember that. Like,
Mhm.
and like I remember talking to this person or like thinking this thing or creating this product. So It's fun.
It's a release. It definitely is like having something to give you a reason to talk. Like
yeah,
I'll sit in my room and think all day, but
Yeah.
until I that's why I got into writing a lot. Like especially with like I write like all my dreams down. I'll keep like a diary, and then I like have a bunch of like writing books, but
That's
like,
cool.
stories and stuff. But like thinking a thought in your head versus having a physical situation of it is a completely different project.
hmm
Like I might have a memory or write something down or think something in my head, and if I don't write it down, next time I think about it, it's going to be completely different.
yeah, it's gonna
Mhm.
change
Yeah.
because our memories are not concrete.
No.
They are fluid and they
Yeah.
constantly adapt and change to like what we're feeling and thinking later on.
Yeah, memories are. I mean, I think it's important to have that to be able to adapt and change with different visual. But it's also important to have a touchstone of like, this is where I was at this point. This is what I'm thinking about.
Oh, totally.
This is what I had. This is what I thought about this back then.
Mm-hmm.
And you can think, oh, I thought about this back then like this, but it isn't as accurate. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like making it physical is kind of important outside of just like trying to like talk to other people or give yourself a platform. Even just the personal kind of side to it is really important.
Totally. Yeah, and it's kind of like all up to you as a creator. So I just think it's fun to watch people progress and like grow as artists and creators. Like I've actually been following Talk Comics to Me, the newest show we just added, for like a year or two. And I never approached them because I just didn't think they'd be interested, you know. But then I finally like got the balls to do it, and they joined. So, but like it's fun to watch those people go from like one thing to another, or you see how their hosting style or their interviewing style has adapted or changed in different ways. Like that's something that I think you're never gonna stop learning. No. That's something I learned very early on, is that like no matter how much work I do there's always more to do, and that's kind of the fun in it, is like to be able to see that progression. Like I can show you my first 2 interviews and they were dog shit, and then I can show you 2 in the middle that were like probably better than like any interview I've ever fucking heard. And I don't say that just because I'm bragging. Like I say that because like I think I actually got
it's
that
not ego, it's confidence.
To a point where like what we were discussing was like never heard before from that person anywhere, and like how we were doing it was so natural, and they didn't have any resistance. They were so into it, and I was so into it, and we had this. It's like being a musician. So like I'm assuming if you're watching this, you like EDM, right? Or you like their music, or like whatever EDM local music you like. It's like throwing the energy that you're throwing back and forth between an audience and a band or a musician. It's the same exact game as like talking to someone over Zoom on an interview, like across the world for your podcast, or like, you know, interviewing someone else. Like it's a toss of energy, and you got to learn to like be able to play that game, or else it's either going to go one way too much or the other way too much. Like I personally don't know how to rein things in sometimes. That's my weakness, you know. Like I got people on my show that don't know how to bring stuff up on time, and it took them a while to even understand that was something to work on. They were like, I thought it was something else that was this. I'm like, no. See, we all have things we got to work on, man.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's just part of the fun.
But then you have those people and you have you that kind of blend together.
Exactly.
You do too much, they do enough, and then it kind of pushes them to do more and you to do less.
Right.
And,
and it's never from a place of like, well, I've been doing this for 4 years. It's like, no, dude, like I'm always learning. Like I have been doing this for 4 years, but I'm not perfect.
Yeah,
like,
I've been doing it for years, so I know I need to learn.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I love it, man. This is probably the most fun I've ever had is on this show. Like just making stuff and creating stuff that I can say like, no one else made this. This isn't like a review or like some like, you know what I mean? Like how you make music. You're like, no, I made this. This is I can say this is mine, and I can literally sue you if you use it. like that's such a fun feeling. You're like, yes, I have the power.
I have a thing.
Good.
Yeah, like it, but it also it definitely takes a lot of like determination and like willingness to put yourself out there. Like it is a fear, you know. How have you like faced with that? Like, have you ever had that kind of like anxiety? Like podcasts.
Like with putting out shows?
Yeah.
There has been a couple times throughout the last couple of years where I've been like, okay, I don't know if that was quality. Like, I don't know if I was on point during that entire episode. But I feel like it's important to be transparent, and you're going to have off days. And yeah, I could be like, let's reshoot it where I had a good day, or like I'm more prepared to this or that and the other, but sometimes you just got to like fly by the seat of your pants, and like it's going to be good or it's going to be bad, but not everyone's going to be a banger. So getting used to that fact was hard for me, because I was like, I want everyone to be a banger. Like, why is this one getting 1,000 listens and this one gets 30? Like, fuck, I like this one better. Like, listen to it. Like, so it pisses me off, but like at the same time, like maybe there's a lesson to be learned there. If you're trying to get numbers, which I'm never, that's never the point for me. I'm not, I tell this to everyone that comes on the show. I said, if you're trying to become like Dead Meat Podcast or Nerdist or any of these big dudes,
you're trying to become a thing.
I said, like, that's not going to happen here. So you should just leave, because you could go do that on your own. I guarantee you're capable of it. You could do that, but we're not trying to do that. We're like the underground scene of podcasting that you're not probably going to hear about unless someone told you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not going to promote on Facebook or, like, you know what I mean?
No.
Do things like that because it's just against kind of the
Yeah,
whole
we're not
thing.
going to put money into the advert. It's going to be a word of mouth thing. And
Right.
if people like it, they'll find it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of been the attitude during all of it. So, like, every time I get a subscriber on YouTube or on Twitch or something, I'm like, yes,
Dude,
because that
same.
means it's, like,
One of
organic,
us,
bro.
one of
Same.
us.
Yes.
Oh, God.
I'm like,
Oh.
yes, one of us, join us. Like, it's perfect. I love that vibe that we're throwing out and that we're getting back. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, I could definitely tell that was the same vibe you guys were jamming on. It was crispy, you know. Like, I watched a couple of your episodes and then I listened to D&D and I was like, okay, no, I gotta have these guys on. I called him and I was like, all right, hey, who
That
are you?
D&D
Get with
campaign
me.
is chaotic as fuck.
It's
We're-
so fun.
We're supposed to go to a coliseum. Like
Oh,
the whole
God.
thing, we're
Oh,
supposed to go
God.
to a coliseum and like
never gonna
do
get there.
do this. However, one of our characters, one of our players, was like, "No, I think fighting slaves is morally wrong."
Yeah.
And then he told this to a bank
And then,
teller,
yeah.
and then the bank teller was like, "Okay, arrest him." And instead of us letting
Yeah.
him get arrested, we decided to flashbang
And rob the bank. I'm
two
like,
spells and rob
it's
the
like
bank.
real world consequences, guys. That's what I'm sure. This campaign is all about real world consequences.
Oh,
They
God.
just haven't recognized that if you do this, I have to react to it.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So now we're in the back of the bank, and we're gonna find out Saturday what's gonna go.
You're
on.
gonna die. You're all gonna die.
It's-
I'm calling it.
It could happen.
At this point,
So
Yeah.
when do you guys post that new one?
So this Saturday we're gonna. So the one that we just recorded, I think, is like 2 weeks out, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, this Saturday we're gonna actually play it, and then
Nice.
yeah, we have like D&D's 2 weeks out,
Mm.
and then podcasts are like a week out. But this one we're gonna post this week.
Nice.
their D&D campaign I like is a lot more character driven. Like my other one's completely like with my brothers and stuff
Mhm.
is way more story,
Okay.
and theirs is way more character. And it's a learning experience for me because I'm always like story focused.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like having it where I'm like I have to expect them to not care about this like thing I worked like 4 hours
Dude,
writing.
You're
you know?
telling me, man. I did a fucking campaign like last year. It was like a one-off day. I always do one-offs. I can't do anything else.
I mean, with all the stuff you're doing already.
Right, it's
hard
just
to-
all I got
Yeah.
time for. So I'll do a one-off, and there was literally like 2 or 3 different times where I had to keep reintroducing something so they could probably get it. It was an item, so I would just like
Just,
put
like,
it in other
nudge.
places. Yeah, like, hey, maybe check that well over there.
Or you give
No,
someone,
we're just gonna walk by. I'm like,
you give someone a letter and they don't immediately read it. And they're
Right.
like, that letter was important.
so about that letter, you should have opened before you crossed that bridge. Like,
This is 2 episodes in and you
Right.
still haven't read the letter.
God damn it! Just read the fucking letter. A crow flies by and yells, "Read the letter,"
Yeah.
Like-
The letter falls out of your pocket and into your hand.
and opens. Yeah. Your eyes are forced upon the letter. No, yeah. So like that's the frustrating part. Like there was literally an amulet I made that could kill like a giant very easily, and all they had to do was find it, and they just wouldn't. They just wouldn't even
refused.
try to find it.
It's like
I
they
even
were
gave them
actively-
hints.
It's like they were actively spiting you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally. I was like, okay, fine. I guess you're just all gonna die, and they still won. Like stroke of luck. Like should not have won the
Yeah.
game. There was no probable way for them to win,
Without these
and they
things.
won.
Mhm.
I was like, fuck all of you. God damn it. How did I see this
You
coming?
ruined my night.
Exactly. Like I hate you all. Like took my shit and left. But in all my one-offs, I tend to have a very how do I say it? Pervy and sexually fluid merchant.
Got
And
it. You
he's
need
like
that-
he's like
yeah.
as a
You need the-
salamander
yeah.
person, and
You
he's
need
always
the
like,
tinker that's
yeah.
just
He's
like,
like, hey there.
I know
Like,
what you are.
and then that
It's
last
not on
one,
this table.
it's under. Not in this last one that I recorded with Geekly that I'm going to show you, but in the other one I'm talking about with the giants, I created all these items that were just ridiculous, like the sword of the Rona, and it had like poison effect.
Nice.
It was perfect. Or like a talking wooden horse that was this big, and it either told you truths or lies.
Yeah.
So
That's
like
it.
so like they'd go in and they could either exchange an item for an item with this guy. He'd be like, yeah, you can take a random item from the bag, and like they just pull something out, and I'm like, haha, there's you got a fucking globe, like, you lose. Like, or like you got a battle mace that makes fart noises, like I don't know, just stupid shit.
Yeah.
So like someone pull out the horse, and they're like, why the fuck would I ever need this? And the thing was, sometimes the facts it told you were like really, really helpful.
Yeah.
So like that was the thing. It
Or
seemed
put you into situations
yeah.
that were really fun or interesting.
Exactly. Or like it could lie to you and then just fuck your day up, or it could tell you the truth and you just like improved your whole game. So like it would have been really fun to see that horse in game, but they were like, nah, fuck that horse, and put it back in the bag. I'm like, God damn it. Like,
I had 5 pages of notes on
for the horse, right? How dare you? So that's the frustrating part about being a DM.
Yeah, you can lead him to water.
Yeah, you cannot make him drink. Oh my god. So yeah, I really want to get into actually doing more of those one-offs for the Geekly. But again, I gotta wait until Ravenwood's at least off the plate.
You need one thing at a time.
We'll wait till that's done, and I'm actually a little farther into school because right now I'm like halfway through the semester maybe. So I'll wait till I'm a little closer to the end before I start thinking about other stuff.
It's not the time for that.
Yeah.
We'll wait till we get finals out the door. So, but yeah.
Well, cool.
I'm really excited to have you guys on, man.
Yeah, we're glad you want us.
Yeah, honestly.
totally.
That's exciting.
When you were like, yo, I think your show's interesting, can I give you a call? I was
Yeah.
like,
Wait, he does?
yeah, I was like, what?
That's
sick.
awesome. Isn't that a great feeling?
Yeah, it was so cool.
Just wait until the first person in real life recognizes you.
Oh my goodness.
It's like the best feeling in the
That'll
world.
never happen.
Yeah, it's like serious. I had one in Kansas City at a Comic-Con. I was handing out flyers, and this guy goes, "Wait, you're the guy from Weekly Geekly," and I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Dude, I watch your show on YouTube and I listen to some of your stuff," and I was like, and then
oh
it's
my
like, "There
God.
goes the crackhead that I see each morning," and I'm just like jumping around like a crazy person. And they're like, "Oh my God, never listening ever again."
Sorry, I made a mistake.
It's been a couple times throughout the last couple of years that that's happened. And, actually, a couple weeks ago, our anime correspondent got recognized at work by only his voice.
Wow.
This girl that worked with him, and he was a cook, and she was behind the counter thing. She goes, "Wait a minute, do you do a podcast?" And she's like, "Oh my God, I've been listening to that show for like 3 years.
That's awesome.
And then now you're the guy that got me into anime." I was like,
That's a you're the
Wow.
guy that got
Yeah.
me in anime.
Yeah,
It's
I was like,
top of
holy
the
shit.
zone.
I was like, "That's so cool, dude. Like, congrats." He's like, "I feel amazing." I was like, "Take that feeling and keep creating more shit."
Drives you.
Yeah,
So
it does.
I think totally what drives us. So if you guys have a comment for these motherfuckers, leave it down there.
Yes,
Go to Sin
please.
Nation. Either
Yeah.
one, they're both
Either
cool.
one.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Wow, guys. This was incredible. Thank you again for being on. It was so much fun.
Yeah, totally. Man.
Thank you for the
Finally
opportunity.
got on.
yeah, dude. It was great. Check out everything down below. We've got the Sin Nation link down there. We've got a link to us down there as well. We hope you loved it. Leave us a message, please. We wanna listen to it.
And yeah, like thank you for coming on, and just like you're one of those people that is like a storyteller, and for
Mhm.
me, that's like
You're captivated by
I
the
love
story. I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's why you're
not
gonna
even
like
the story.
it.
The
Yeah.
people like that are. In
Ooh,
that
okay. You like the
mindset.
craft of it.
I
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
people who are in that mindset. And
Totally.
I'm happy to.
Because you're in that mindset too.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right
right
up
up your
I'm happy
alley.
to
Yeah.
be connected to you.
We're
Yeah.
geeking out.
Yeah, for real.
Hell yeah, dude.
So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Nothing but cool things coming. So you guys stay tuned.
Yes,
Stay
sir.
tuned for these guys on Synergy, and stay tuned for more from Boss Bus.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Thank you, guys. And on that note, have a good night. We appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts.
Keep it real.
That was fun.
Yeah, good job.